Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Discipline is choosing between what you want now, in the moment, and what you want most. I'm going to credit that to Abraham Lincoln, although I think many people have said that. This is episode number 70, and I'm just not motivated. Hey there, welcome back to the podcast. You know what I teach is what I'm going through or have gone through at some point in my life, and I have been going through it for a few weeks now, feeling a little bit off, in a funk, got sucker punched, and that really let the air out of my tires, and for sure, I'm feeling a little flat and unmotivated, uninspired. One thing that I want to make perfectly clear today, if I haven't already, is that I am human and I have a brain and it works just like yours. I am not perfect. Perfection isn't even my goal. There are days, in fact, most days, that I am just not that motivated. The other day, actually, I was putting some clothes away, which I did not feel like doing, by the way, and my eyeballs spotted my podcast mic. And I had the thought, I just don't feel like it. And it got me thinking about motivation and quitting and discipline, all the fun stuff we start thinking about when we're trying to uplevel our lives. It may sound very odd for you to hear me say this out loud, but I don't always feel like doing the things that I do. I don't always feel like working out. There are many days that I do not feel like writing. The thought has even crossed my mind, just let yourself go, drink more beer, eat more Oreos, live it up, you're 60. Who's going to care? Some days, in the moment, I can catch myself feeling like I don't want to record another podcast episode, but I do it anyway. Why? Because what I want most is to help thousands and thousands of women, 100,000 women actually. When we are what I call in the moment, our brain is going to offer us thoughts that have us seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and conserving energy. Always. That's just how we're wired. Rarely are we ever going to be served up the thought that supports the thing that we want the most. Those thoughts come from our conscious thinking, and we spend about 95% of our life in our subconscious thought. It can feel like you just aren't motivated or you have trouble staying motivated. And if you could just figure out how to stay motivated, you could hit your goal this time. Get that thing done, finally. I get it. See if this doesn't sound like you. You get all excited on a goal that you've decided on and you can't wait to see the result. And then, bam, lack of motivation hits. Inspiration lacks, and pretty soon, what we want most to create or experience can't stand up to what we want now, right now, in the moment, which is to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. As I started thinking about doing this episode, I started becoming very aware of all of the moments in which what I want most isn't the forefront of my consciousness, and if I don't manage my brain, what I want now, in the moment, would take over. I noticed how often the primal part of the brain, the part wired for survival, insists on taking charge of the moment and does its darndest to sabotage what I want most. Here are a few examples. Every Sunday night, after my final barn chores of the day are done, I wipe down and armor all the interior of my truck. I noticed this week how my brain offered the thought, go have a quick beer and then come back and wipe it down. Now, there is nothing that I love more than a nice cold ultra after a hot, sweaty session at of barn chores. But what I want most is to have a clean truck to kick off the week. I want to maintain my truck in a pristine and elegant manner. The part of my brain that wants what it wants and wants what it wants now wanted a beer more than what I wanted most. I noticed that when I went to make the bed every morning this week, like every morning my brain offered the thought, no one sees this, right? This little thing that you do every morning serves no one. Just leave it just this one time. Who cares? What I want most is a clean and tidy house. What my brain wanted in the moment was to not make the bed and not even go do something else, just forego making the bed that day. I noticed today when I started opening up the trailer for Dutch's trailer training session, my brain said, it's too hot, just skip today. One day won't make a difference. But what I want most is to have him trained and comfortable with the trailer. Again, my brain didn't even offer me something else in exchange for the trailer training. My brain just didn't feel like it. My brain offered the notion that I didn't feel like recording a podcast episode, but what I want most is to help thousands of women create a life by design. That is what I want most. This week, notice how your brain tries to manage you in the moment and how often it tries to move you away from what you want most in exchange for what your brain is offering you in the moment, which is usually nothing, by the way. So here's what I want you to know. Number one, don't listen to that part of the brain, ever. Not when it's not congruent with what you want most. And then, number two, I'm going to teach you how to pull out the secret weapon that we all have, even if you don't think you do. You do, and that is called discipline. When the motivation wanes, and it will, when inspiration is hard to feel for all of the perspiration, that is exactly when you need to play the discipline card. Now, don't stop listening. I'm going to give you a mind shift today about discipline like you have never experienced. So, buckle up. Discipline is a word that can conjure up images of punishment, giving up things that you enjoy, doing hard or difficult things, correcting your behavior, changing bad habits. It's really no wonder that we shrink at the shudder and the very sound of the word discipline and then promptly run the other direction. Reaching a goal, any goal, living a life by design, regardless of what that means to you, is simply a series of decisions. It is a decision to choose what we want most, i.e. your goal, over what we want in the moment or what our brain wants in the moment. That is what every single successful person you know has done over and over and over again. And that's it. That is the secret sauce. When we are focused on choosing what we want most, our goal comes into focus, and we can more easily make the choices that have us moving toward that goal. That is discipline in action. When we focus on what we want now, what our brain offers us in the now, in the moment, and what we want now isn't congruent with what we want most, our brains throw us all kinds of thoughts that have us not thinking about what we want most, and it has us thinking thoughts that take us further away from our goal. Here's a good example. I want the ice cream in the moment, but what I want most is to lose weight. This has us feeling like we are missing out on something, or even making us feel defeated, like we will never be able to control our cravings and urges. Instead of looking to our future self and the effect of that, we find ourselves at the effect of our current moment and what we want right now, or I should say, what our brain wants and what it wants right now. We give up, thereby reinforcing the old familiar thought of, I'll never lose the weight anyway. Is this sounding familiar, by the way? We might even bristle up a bit, causing the pity party committee to chime in with, it's not fair that I can't have ice cream. I deserve to treat myself. We do this with our career goals, our wealth goals, our business goals, even our relationship goals. Think about that thing that you're trying to create in your life right now, and then think about the choices that you are making daily in the now and ask yourself if they align with the thing that you want to create the most. When the ego, the primitive part of the brain, bubbles up, we can become indignant. We can go into the by gosh, I deserve another piece of cake attitude, and we can abandon the thing that we want most, to lose weight or to stay healthy and fit. Now, I'm using weight loss as an example here, but insert anything that you want most and see what your brain throws you that starts sabotaging that goal. And here's the truth. We deserve so much more than whatever the brain is offering us in the moment right now. Notice what the brain is offering as an alternative in the moment. Keep in mind that it's your brain's motivational strategy to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. So more likely than not, what your brain is offering you in the moment is nothing that will serve you long term. Really notice that. I get it when you're in the now and it feels so strong, but here's what I want to offer you. I want to remind you that we get very good at the thing we practice the most. So right now, maybe you are very good at giving into the here and now and the right now and the moment instead of thinking about what you want most. That's all that's going on. There's nothing wrong with you or your brain. In fact, it's working just as designed for survival. But it isn't about survival when we're talking about our goals. So we need to flip the script. To flip the script and change the story, all you have to do is practice deciding to do the thing that supports what you want most, not what is right now. That, my friend, is discipline, and it has nothing to do with you feeling like it. It has everything to do with deciding and then doing it regardless of how you feel. When you have that thing that you just can't let go of, make that thing the thing that you dream about the most, want the most, desire the most, feel the most loving thoughts about most of the time. Don't let your brain bully you into thinking that you can't create your desired outcome. Don't let your brain bully you into thinking that you must have that thing right now. Remember, that part of the brain is amazing, but it wants what it wants, and it wants what it wants right now, kind of like a 3-year-old in Walmart wanting to open the Oreos, and you just said, wait until we get home, right? Listen, whatever that thing is that's presenting itself now, it will be there. Don't let FOMO keep you from what you want the most. Don't let indulgent emotions take over and drive you to do something in the moment that sabotages what you want most. The donuts that someone brought in the break room, it will happen again, I promise. The last 2 bites left on your plate have no purpose for you or what you want most if you are already full. You are not saving a third world country anywhere by eating it. It's just right here in the now, but I want you to think about what you want most. Make your decisions from there. I know Netflix sounds good right now, but cracking those books and hammering out that degree, that's what you want most. Netflix will always be there. What do you want most, my friend? And decide to choose that every day. Decide to do that over and over and over again. And before you know it, the weight is gone. The wealth has grown. The relationships have evolved. Your business is launched. You are living your life by design. That is what I have for you this week. And now I hope that you have the best week ever. That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you loved this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week bootcamp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results. If a one-on-one coaching program is more your jam, I am all in. Just shoot me an email and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.